My name is Grace. I'm from the UK. I grew up there until I was about 13, and then I went to a boarding school. When I was 16, 17, my grandparents passed away, who were very significant in my life. They lived with me, so I was very upset about that, and I think it led me to spending time thinking about life and deeper questions in life. That took a few years of me thinking about things to kind of overcome the sadness, and now I've come to a place of gratitude that I'm just so lucky to have had such wonderful grandparents. Growing up in the UK, there's often a culture of not really speaking very much about your emotions and pushing things under the carpet rather than facing your problems, and I have never really been like that. I've always wanted to be open and speaking about things, so I've always been attracted to the East and Eastern philosophy, really. So in 2022, I got another job. I moved to a different company in Manchester, and the company looked like it was this amazing company. They looked like they had a wonderful culture, and then after spending time there, it was revealed to me that it seemed that they had a very good marketing team. So after a few months, it was very stressful, it was very intense. I then had a new line manager, a lady. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I think she didn't really like me. I feel that she perhaps felt a bit threatened by me for some reason, because I challenged the values, because I was always wanting to be honest and authentic and kind, and I think that perhaps me standing up for those values led to some conflict sometimes. In the end, after many horrible incidents with her, I decided to leave. It was a difficult time, spending time in a company that I was really trying to help and that didn't see that. But looking back on it now, I feel so grateful for the experience that happened, because it led me here. My name is Grace. I'm from the UK. I'm from a small village near Sherwood Forest. If you've heard of Robin Hood, I'm from just next to Robin Hood's forest in Nottinghamshire. I grew up there until I was about 13, and then I went to a boarding school in Derbyshire nearby, also in the countryside. And when I was 16, 17, my grandparents passed away, who were very significant in my life. They lived with me at my family home. So I was very upset about that, and I think it led me to spending time thinking about life and deeper questions in life. And I'd spend a lot of time contemplating things and not really understanding my feelings exactly. And that took a few years of me thinking about things to kind of overcome the sadness, and now I've come to a place of gratitude that I'm just so lucky to have had such wonderful grandparents. I studied at university in Birmingham, a city in the centre of England, and I studied French, Chinese and business. So as part of my degree, it was a 4-year course, and I had 1 year where I went and lived in Paris for 6 months, and I worked for a pharmaceutical company. And then I went to Shanghai for 6 months, and I studied Chinese in China. I've spent quite a lot of time traveling. I've been very fortunate to be able to travel to lots of different parts of the world, and I feel that's really helped me to understand the differences culturally between different parts of the world, but also understand that we're all just human beings. We all just want to be loved. We all want to smile and be happy. And seeing people in different parts of the world who have nothing materially, but they seem so content, was just really interesting for me. Growing up in the UK, there's often a culture of not really speaking very much about your emotions and pushing things under the carpet rather than facing your problems, and I have never really been like that. I've always wanted to be open and speaking about things, so I've always been attracted to Eastern philosophy, really. After university, I then spent a few months living with my cousins and their little children. They just had a little baby girl who was 4 weeks old at the time when I moved in, and they had a little boy who was 2, and that was a really special few months to get so much time spending with little children. I feel like they can teach us so much about the simplicity of life. After that, I then got a job. I was working for so it was my first kind of major job that I'd got, which was working for a private equity venture capital company in the finance industry in the UK. That was based in Manchester, and I spent 3 years working there as an investment associate on the investment team. So my job would be looking at different businesses, analysing them, meeting with the management teams, deciding whether they'd be a good investment for the company that I worked for. I really enjoyed the job. I liked the people I was working with. I had this feeling that the industry wasn't necessarily quite right for me. They're very driven by profit and making money, and sometimes at the expense of other people and at the expense of kindness. For me, some of my core values are kindness, authenticity, honesty, and I felt that sometimes those values were being challenged a little bit. I then decided to move to a different company, and I was working there for about 3 months under the supervision of my line manager, who was a really lovely guy. So in 2022, I got another job. I moved to a different company in Manchester, and the company looked like it was this amazing company. They looked like they had a wonderful culture. And then after spending time there, it was revealed to me that it seemed that they had a very good marketing team, and that perhaps the culture underneath wasn't as rosy as I thought it was going to be. So after a few months of me being there, I was told by the CEO that my line manager would be leaving. I was told on Wednesday afternoon that on Friday would be his last day and I wouldn't see him again. And at that point, it was only him and I in the team, and we were working on managing a £20 million investment fund, investing in health tech businesses in the Northwest. So as he was leaving, that left me as the only person working on the fund. So I then, naturally, for me, I just kind of tried to take on his work, but it was very stressful, it was very intense. After a few months of that, I spoke to the CEO and told him what I'd been doing and asked for support. And I asked for a promotion if I was going to be continuing doing those things. He said we'd speak about it again, and we never did. I then had a line manager, a new line manager, a lady, and she was promoted to director. She was promoted and also promoted to kind of the head of the fund, and also managing 3 people all at once. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I think she didn't really like me. I feel that she perhaps felt a bit threatened by me for some reason, because I challenged the values, because I was always wanting to be honest and authentic and kind. And I think that perhaps me standing up for those values led to some conflict sometimes. In the end, after many horrible incidents with her, I decided to leave, and I handed in my notice, and I knew it was the right thing, because that evening when I got home, I then spent an hour dancing around my kitchen. I was so happy that I was going to be leaving that company. It was a difficult time, spending time in a company that I was really trying to help, and that didn't see that. But looking back on it now, I feel so grateful for the experience that happened because it led me here. And so after I left my job, I then decided to take a break for a little bit from work. I did get a couple of job offers for other similar roles, but I thought, I'm just going to take a break. I want to feel better in myself before I decide what I'm going to do. So there was something inside of me saying to go away, and there was something inside of me saying to go to India. So I heard about this place I read Radhanath Swami's book, The Journey Home, and I loved it. That was a few years ago, and I listened to Jay Shetty's podcast where he was interviewing Radhanath Swami, and they were talking about Govardhan Eco Village, and I thought, wow, that place sounds amazing. I'd love to go there. And then when I was searching for somewhere to go in India, I knew that I was searching for something healing and where I could learn, and I remembered that podcast, so I listened to it again, and I thought, wow, this place sounds amazing. I looked it up, and there was a 2-week Vedic philosophy course which I thought I would try and enroll in. They said they had space, so at the end of November I came out to India and joined the Vedic philosophy course. That course was actually part of a month-long yoga teacher training course, and after 1 week of being there, I then decided that I wanted to do the full yoga teacher training course, because I was just having such a wonderful time, and I'd met so many amazing people. After 2 weeks, I then extended it to 1 month, and then I had the great fortune of meeting some amazing people on my course. At the end of November, when I decided to take a break, I remembered Jay Shetty's podcast with Radhanath Swami, where he was talking about Govardhan Eco Village. So when I decided I'm going to take a break, the first place that popped into my head was, that eco village in the middle of India sounded really great. I'd like to go there. So I looked it up, and I managed to be able to come and do a Vedic philosophy course here. I was studying with Nimai Leela Prabhu, who is a wonderful philosophy teacher, and I was part of a yoga teacher training group. There were about 16 of us altogether, and it was a really wonderful group of people. So about half of the people are from India, half from elsewhere around the world. I think about half are devotees and half were not. Most people had heard of Iskcon, Krishna consciousness, but also many people like myself hadn't, and were just seeking something. So this course entailed yoga classes in the mornings, and we had 3 wonderful yoga teachers, Anmol, Arti and Roshan, and then our philosophy classes with Nimai Leela Prabhu. And in the first week of the philosophy classes, we had a class where Nimai Leela was talking about the soul and the soul's nature. He was talking about Sat, Chit, Ananda, and explaining that the soul's nature is to love and be loved. 4 years ago, when I was doing some big thinking, why are we all here, what's the purpose of everything, I felt like I came up with this conclusion of my thoughts that I think we're here to love and be loved. And so back at the start of 2020, I wrote on a blackboard in my bedroom at home the words, "We are here to love and be loved." And that's still in my room at home. And then in the philosophy class, when I witnessed my teacher, Nimai Leela Prabhu, writing those exact words on the board that were from the Vedic scriptures, it felt like something had hit me in the heart. And I felt that, oh wow, that's amazing that I'd done so much thinking and contemplating about it, and then someone was just telling me this thing from an old like Vedic scriptures. And then lots of things like that kept happening. These moments where I felt that I was being told something that I already knew that had taken me a while to work out. And the group itself that I had was really a magical group. I feel like I've gained 10 new brothers and sisters, and even now it's been a couple of months since we've left the course and we still speak all the time. Most days we're sending messages on our group. In Govardhan Eco Village, I attended the yoga teacher training course, and I feel that I have changed a lot since being here. I had the great fortune of spending time with lots of amazing devotees. I feel very fortunate to have spent a lot of time with Yadibar Prabhu, who is the director of the movie, the Hare Krishna movie. And I watched the movie back in December, and I was really shocked at my reaction to the film because I was so emotional and I just couldn't stop crying, and I didn't know why exactly, but I just felt such a strong connection with Prabhupada. And I felt that watching the movie, somehow I felt really understood and loved by Prabhupada. And since then, I have been learning lots more from all the other amazing devotees who are here. And I just feel like my heart is full of love. I feel very content and peaceful. I am generally someone who worries quite a lot, and I haven't really been worrying very much. I was previously feeling really stressed after leaving my job, but I haven't really felt very stressed, at least not for very long whilst being here. It's a very peaceful place to be. And I just feel like I'm at home here. I feel at home with the people here. I think that the people I've met have been really important, and it's made me reassess my whole life back in the UK and thinking what I want to do going forwards. I don't think I'm built to be in the corporate world. I think I'm definitely a people person, and I've been thinking, okay, well, when I go back to the UK, I want to make sure that I will be able to be around other devotees, because I feel like all my life I felt a little bit different. I felt that I really, really care. I'm really empathetic as a person, and I haven't always understood why people might act in certain ways when they're not being kind or thoughtful towards others. And I don't feel that here. I just feel that I fit in. I feel like this is my group of people, and I feel so deeply grateful to Radhanath Maharaj and to everyone here who's working here, who's made the Eco Village so wonderful, and for this experience that I've had. It's been truly amazing, and I just feel so blessed.
So are you planning to do it full time? I mean, service to the Krishna, to God?
Yeah, I had this feeling about 10 days ago, and I was writing in my journal. I do quite a lot of journaling, and I thought, I feel that I would just like to serve Prabhupada. I feel that I don't want to work for anyone else. I just want to work for him, and I just want to please him. And so that's what I'd like to do. And I've been back a few times this year. So I came back in January for 2 weeks, and I was doing seva. I was picking flowers with the local ladies for the deities, and then working at the Goshala. And I've also been helping Yadibar Prabhu to help try and distribute the movie, the Hare Krishna movie, to the masses of India. And then I've been doing that kind of seva every time I've been coming back. And I feel a very strong connection with the people here. I think that the local people here really make this place what it is, and I've spent a lot of time with them. I've now started learning Marathi, so I can communicate with the locals because they don't speak Hindi, they don't speak English, and I don't speak Hindi yet. But being a linguist, I'm very curious about other languages, and I think you build a different connection with people when you can speak their language. So I want to be able to speak the language of the people here, and yeah, I feel very grateful for all the friendships that I've made with the locals as well, and I'm quite surprised at how many people I've now become friends with here, and it's been really beautiful.
Any plans when you go back to UK? So you will spread the words of Krishna or positivity there. You would like to continue as a full-time devotee, or you want to do something in corporate again?
When I go back to the UK, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I feel a bit apprehensive about it because all of my friends and family are not Krishna conscious. But I have got some new friends who in the UK who are devotees. I don't think that the corporate world is the place for me. My plan is to go back and spend some time with my family. My family have their own business, so I plan to work for them for a bit. But I also want to go and spend some time at the Bhakti Manor, just outside of London. I'd like to spend time there. I'd like to learn more. I want to properly study the Bhagavad Gita and understand the Vedic scriptures. And I want to try and serve Prabhupada in the best way that I can. So I've been very fortunate over the past few weeks to have travelled to a few different places in India. I went to Vrindavan and then to Rishikesh. I'm going to Mayapur tomorrow, and I've had the great fortune of meeting many wonderful swamis, Keshava Swami, Giriraj Swami, Gopal Krishna Swami, and each of them I've asked them how I can best serve Prabhupada. I want to understand that, and yeah, all of them have said to chant the holy name, to spread the message of Krishna consciousness, to spread Prabhupada's message, to distribute books. So I plan to do all of those things wherever I am in the world. One of my favourite things that I've learned here is to act with intention. My philosophy teacher said in one of our classes, our actions don't define us, but our intentions do. I feel that it's really important to act with intention. Another thing that I would always say, which is very me, is just always be kind. I think that kindness is a wonderful thing. For more inspiring stories or similar stories, please subscribe to Wake Up and Shine to hear more.